Now, as you all know, there's been a kind of surge in action taking place against misinformation being made available, especially online. But now I've found a study, and this study kind of sums it up. It was a study into men's health articles online, and these are basically from content creators and from qualified physicians. And they found, I'll sum this up really quickly, they found basically that roughly just over 50% of all content relating to men's health was inaccurate, and that the physicians were, although they were slightly more reliable than the content creators, it was extremely slight. There are still a lot of qualified physicians who are giving out misinformation. Usually they've got supplements or something to sell you. Now, I was actually, watching a video the other day, just out of curiosity. The reason why, I can't remember, they might have had a clickbaity title. The clickbaity title was something along the lines of, "This is why 90% of you are destined to age," something similar to that. So I clicked on it out of curiosity. It was only a 10-minute video. I was drinking my morning cup of coffee, eating my breakfast. So I propped my phone up against a bottle of water and watched a glass bottle of water, of course, against the bottle of water, and watched this video. And it was basically, he was marketing. It was manipulative marketing, fear-mongering marketing, playing on the fears of anybody who's watching the video, telling you all the things that all the ingredients that you need, you must have, otherwise you're going to become one of the 90% who ages. Everybody ages, by the way. But now, from the perspective of somebody, I'm not young anymore, I'm the other side of the kind of audience that he was aiming for. I'm, when people reach my age, they want to look 20 something and buying these products. Now here's the thing, when you get to the sort of latter stages of this video, every single thing he tells you that you need to avoid aging, miracle of miracles and a great coincidence, it's all included in the supplement that you can buy if you hit the link. And then of course, when you hit the link and you look into these supplements, let's just say they were ridiculously expensive for what they were. Now, to be honest, as somebody, like I said, I'm on the other side of the fence. I've transitioned, I'm on the other side. I'm often complimented that I've got great skin. So, and the things that I've been doing and the rules that I've observed, I'll make a video about skincare if anybody's interested, of course. But none of the things that, apart from avoiding long periods of time in the sun, and that prolonged skin exposure to the sun can damage the skin, there was nothing really of any, credible interest there. It was just all manipulation to get you to buy a supplement. A skincare product at the end of the video, which of course, at that price per unit only takes a few sales and you've made a few quid. So it was, and he had the physician's tag, is a qualified, certified physician or whatever, below his username, underneath the channel name. I'm not going to mention him because I'm not, that kind of guy. But just goes to show, I think, to be honest, that a lot of content creators, there are a lot of content creators whose information is a bit iffy. There are also a lot of content creators who don't have qualified physician tag underneath their channel name, but they've got a lot of experience on the subject, obviously, and they're speaking with authority based upon that experience. And so a qualification isn't the be all and the end all. And if there is a qualification of certainly, I mean, it's certainly its expertise in a field, but when you have, for example, a skincare video or a supplement video, which is marketing supplements or skincare, so-and-so is a certified physician, but in what? You know, they could be a chiropodist, or, you know, they could be a physiotherapist, or some, you know, some obscure asthma specialist. And you know, and skincare or, you know, dermatology or nutrition is not their field of expertise. They're just a qualified physician. So, you know, and the study did confirm, of course, that the physicians were equally as guilty, although their information was very, very, very slightly more accurate than the content creators. It was still, you know, a large chunk of it was inaccurate and misinforming. Now, it's not just these guys that you've got to watch out for. The mainstream media are actually equally as guilty of spreading misinformation, as we all know. I'm not going to get political here or anything, this is not the space for that. But in February 2023, I spotted in my news feed one morning headlines, you know, and this headline, this story appeared in many different mainstream news publications, you know, like the New York Post, Daily Mail, Independent, Miami Herald. Pretty much every mainstream newspaper covered this story in some manner or form. And the headline was, if you drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you will get larger testicles and higher testosterone. Now, in the Daily Mail, hang on a moment, let's just grab a phone and find that article. I'll refer to this article now because it was the article that I read. And to be honest, it's completely misleading. Now, the headline is basically, it says, cookies, no, refuse all. Okay. Are you a man or a mouse? Men. You know what men are. We're all aware of what men are, okay? So there's no confusion here. Men who drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi have higher testosterone levels and larger testicles. Now you go on to read in the story here, and it says here, the country's most popular sodas might refresh the parts that other drinks can't reach by giving men bigger testicles and making them more masculine, a study suggests. Research showed adult males who drank Coca-Cola or Pepsi had higher testosterone levels and larger genitals than their peers. So this study, it indicates that drinking these Pepsi and Coca-Cola will make men more masculine. Men. Now, it's specifically men. You know, how often, let's say there's a group of mice in the corner, and I point to the group of mice, and I say, oh, that man over there has got bigger testicles than the rest of them. Am I talking about? People are going to go, huh? All I can see are some mice. Not that male mouse or male mice who drink Coca-Cola and Pepsi will have more testosterone and bigger testicles, but men. It's pretty specific, and they're leading you on. They're being suggestive that this refers to men and that these men are more masculine. Now, if you can differentiate, let's take men out of the equation for a while. Now, let's say there's a group of mice. We've got a group of mice in front of us. Can we differentiate those who drink Coca-Cola and Pepsi? I mean, what is it about them that makes them more masculine? Is it they've got more facial hair? You know, mice tend to have pretty covered, you know, both the female and male mice are pretty much covered in fur all over. The only real way that you can differentiate the gender of a mouse is to pick them up and look at their genitals. Otherwise, they all look the same, to be honest. Not being a mouse expert or anything, to me, they all look the same. Now, these mice, these men, as the newspapers called them, they're more masculine, so they've got more facial hair. Maybe they grew longer beards. They had deeper squeaks. They increased their muscle mass. I don't know what it was about them that made these men, mice, men, more masculine. Now, the thing is, and for me this was a huge disappointment, is that they didn't give any of the female mice any Coca-Cola or Pepsi, just to make a comparison. I mean, would the female mice have been more feminine? Would they have had higher squeaks that sounded more feminine? Would they have had sexier asses or enlarged teats? Would they have appeared more feminine? They have less or shorter hair on their faces. And it's like it specifically insinuates basically that adult males who drank Coke and Pepsi. Now that's not an inaccurate statement, because they were adult males. They were just adult male mice, and not the men that all of these stories kept referring to. They kept on suggesting that this applied to men. None of the stories categorically stated that this does not necessarily apply to humans. This study was on mice and does not correspond to men. This kind of literature, this suggestion just was absent from all of these articles, and they were highly suggestive that this study specifically referred to men, that men would get higher testosterone levels, become more masculine and get bigger testicles. Now, most people, when they look at a newspaper headline, they scan the headline. If it interests them, they might read the subheading and then maybe the first couple of paragraphs. Who reads all the way to the bottom? Of course, at the bottom it does say that this was a test on mice. But who gets to the bottom? How many guys literally spotted that and then literally ran to the local shop to stock up on Coke, thinking that they were going to get, how many guys were in the gym that day? I train at home, so I didn't get to see. But how many guys were in the gym that day and, sporting a can of Coca-Cola? Oh, this gives you bigger testicles and more testosterone. And you probably got a few of the steroid guys that, checked them out and thought, oh, they're a bit small, so I'm going to go and stock up on Coke when I've finished here. It's misleading. Now, let's be realistic. If you take this as mice, if you've got a group of mice, can you look at the group of mice and pick out the one mouse? Let's say you've got 10 mice and one of them is a regular Coca-Cola drinker. Can you pick the mouse out? Does he look different from his peers? Does he appear more masculine? It's extremely unlikely. And then you've got to consider to yourself, reading between the lines here, it doesn't say anything in the newspaper stories, but who funded this test? I wonder who that could have been. Obviously, it's not quite true information. Now, a disclaimer: I'm not insinuating in any way that these highly reputable publications sought out with the intention of misleading the public in any way at all. Disclaimer: I don't want to be misrepresented or anything like that. I'm not insinuating at all that these publications were trying to give the wrong impression here, but it certainly can be construed like that. You might think, the constant reference to men being more masculine, men getting larger testicles, men increasing their testosterone levels by drinking these drinks. Now, I wonder, which we all know that scientists, if they're paid to lie by certain unscrupulous individuals, of course they're going to take that money and, tell the unscrupulous individuals whatever information that they need to forward their narrative. You've seen the examples that are available. I'm not going to go into anything or get political, but even the laws of nature can get rewritten by scientists if it suits the narrative of the unscrupulous individuals. Now, back to our Coca-Cola. Now, basically, multiple studies have shown that drinking sugary sodas and sugar-free sodas actually reduces testosterone levels in men. This is human men and not male mice. Might work wonders for mice, but I'm guessing if you're watching this, then you're human males and not mice, you're men. Now, in men, drinking sugary sodas on a regular basis is going to tank your testosterone levels, and the more sodas you drink, the larger the decrease in testosterone is going to be. So be very careful where you get your information. Even from seemingly official sources, it can be a bit dubious. Now, so don't drink. The advice, the parting words from this video are: do not drink sugary sodas. Keep your soda intake to a minimum. The sugar-free versions are even worse than the sugary versions because the artificial sweeteners they contain are really unhealthy. So the sugary ones are 10 times more healthy than the sugar-free ones. So be careful where you get your information. Too many sodas is going to have a bad effect on your testosterone levels, especially over time. Now, I've written a book. The link to that book is in the description down below. I included it's completely fact-checked from cover to cover, and it's basically everything you can do to optimize your testosterone levels and to keep them maintained at an optimized level for as long as you can in life. You can even fight that inevitable T-level decline when it arrives, if it hasn't arrived for you already. Now, I'm going to give you everything you need to know in this series of videos, so I'm not going to hold back any information and force you to buy my book. It's not like that at all. Anybody who does buy the book will benefit from having all the information to hand. It's all in one place, it's convenient, it's time saving, it's by your side, and you can continually reference the book and remind yourself of things, and it's handy to have that information beside you. I mean, if you're implementing 3 or 4 or more different lifestyle changes all in one go, it can get a bit hectic keeping track of them all. By having this book beside you, of course, it's convenient, it's time saving. So please grab a copy. I appreciate everybody who buys my book and supports my cause. If you want total equilibrium in your life, balance and harmony in your mind, your body and your soul, subscribe to this channel because I've got lots of interesting things coming real soon.